welcome back to Mind Body Relationship, where we talk about the mind, the body, and the relationship. Hi, my name is Emerald Hill, and this is Dr. Laurie Hill.
Hi, Emerald. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good because today we are relationship reviewing one of my favorite, or let's say favorite to hate couples, Mindy and Zack.
Poor Mindy and Zack.
Oh my god, I feel so bad for her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I feel so much dislike for him.
Well, I think that this is a fantastic representation of a dismissive attachment style.
That's a great way to describe how he treats her, is dismissive.
It's so unfortunate, right? So, I think also, too, this is really also indicative of how it is that Pastor Calvin, his philosophy actually really doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yes. And the difference between deepening relationship and, of course, growing out of relationship. So right from the beginning in regards to how it is the two of them are matched, in a way, it totally makes sense.
For sure. He's a fit guy. He said he was into athletic women. She is a skate instructor and looks very athletic. She could be a skater. She could be a ballerina. Very, very svelte, lean, athletic. Yeah.
So true, so true. Only right from the beginning, the aesthetics got in the way.
Exactly. I think he was actually, what he meant was, I'm into Instagram models.
Well, really, I do think it comes down to the aesthetics. It's about looks, right? There's something to do with the look. And so as much as it is that she has something to do with skating, like you said, ballet, when you think about those ways of being, I really do think about constricting the diet.
Yes.
Yeah, a number of conversations with people who, when they were young, started into ballet, gymnastics. Oh gosh, there's a whole list really when you think about it. Horseback riding.
She could be a model.
Yeah.
It's like her aesthetic, really, yes.
Exactly. And it's also about the svelte look, right? It's not a breasty look.
No.
No, and it actually really can't be a breasty look.
No.
Right? When you think about ballerinas, they have to be able to be lifted. Same with skaters, if you're doing that kind of skating.
Yeah, skaters, long distance runners even.
Oh, yes, very much so, right? So it's a specific look and it's a specific lifestyle.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, as it is that we're viewing the differences between the two of them, that's not his lifestyle.
No, he really comes off to me as the kind of guy who's like, oh, I like a woman who has the really skinny waist, big boobs, big butt, and eats whatever she wants. Like, she'll be able to hang out with the guys on football night and, like, eat the pizza and chicken wings with them,
Well, he has a definition of looking good. And, we never really get to know what it is that definition is. I know that partway through, he has a relationship, a sort of pseudo-relationship with one of her friends, only I don't recall what it is that friend looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we get into the clip?
All right, let's do it.
Throw you under the bus in any way.
Right.
But I also want to speak what I'm feeling.
So that results in throwing me under the bus.
I just said, I don't feel that good about myself.
Just because of my looks, that means nothing for you. Because if that were it, then right now you'd be more into me. And it's not fair and it's not what I want.
What did he just say?
Yeah, it's...
You're not into me. Well, you know what? And that really does outline something, right? Because he is looking for something in particular, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a look, whatever that is that might be. The bottom line of it is, what he's saying is, I feel like you're dismissing me, right? Because that's not being met.
Interesting. So it's so weird how he can, because he's the one that's like dismissing all of her efforts, but this one thing that he's not even able to be verbal about is not meeting his standards, so he's dismissing all of that.
Well, and it's also very interesting in regards to what she said. What she said was really, really important, right? Because she said, I don't feel good about myself. That's really key, right? So what she's doing is she's personalizing it, of course, equaling low self-esteem. I feel bad about me, right? So I am not secure within myself. And perhaps that's what it is that he's picking up on.
Interesting.
Right? He's looking for someone who's out there.
Right.
Right? Who's secure within themselves. Nothing really matters to them. They have their own thing. Right? And so what she's saying is she's saying, I need this attachment in order to make me feel good about who it is that I am.
Right.
Which is also very, very interesting. And it also, too, might highlight, just in regards to kind of like, the ballerina, skater sort of aesthetic in regards to constriction. I do think about eating disorders when I think about those sorts of things.
That's really funny, actually, because I think that when they were in Panama, they were eating dinner, and the lobster came, and he was like, yeah, I'm not attracted to you. And she's like, I'm not hungry. And I was like, I would have just been like, okay, do you want to go do something else? Leave your lobster. It's okay. Well, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It takes a huge commitment, because when you start very young.
Yeah.
And genetics is like 50% or more of who it is that we are.
Oh, yeah.
And you're either going to mature into that body type, because it's a specific body type, or you are not.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a very, very hard thing to come to terms with. And I think what we're watching here is exactly the same thing.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. She's not able to have the body type that he is looking for. It's impossible.
Not going to go there.
No, you need to go there, or else you look like a liar. You look like a liar.
Okay, well then I look like a liar. I'm not making it up.
I haven't been in touch with, like, my friends or anything like that, right?
Haven't been in touch?
Oh, we did see Lindsay. There she is.
She had things to say.
So she was hard on you?
Yeah, she wasn't easy on me.
Really? Huh.
It helped kind of hearing things from her, because she just as logical as I am and straightforward as I am.
Logical and straightforward.
Sounds like you confided in her about a lot of stuff.
Interesting.
At first, and then we exchanged numbers.
Just texts? Do you think maybe you should tell me that you're having a friendship on the side with one of my friends?
Well, she said just text, and then he looked at her, and I think he sent some inappropriate pictures.
Oh, the dick pics. Oh, let's hope not.
Where I'm struggling is,
as much as it is that I get the conversation topic, the truth is that there's no commitment between the two of them, because it is dismissive attachment. Right? And the reason why it is he's not wearing the ring or whatever that might be is because there is no commitment. So as much as it is she's saying, do you think it's all right for you to be having a relationship with a friend of mine?
The truth is he does.
Yeah, and and it's a really interesting question. He also said, right, so we did get to see a picture of her, also said about her personality and how it matches his.
Yeah, because her friend actually did look quite like her.
She did, yeah. I mean, other than blonde, the truth is she did. She's tall, she's relatively thin, perhaps a bit more busty, I might say. But the truth is, the looks weren't significantly different. Perhaps the personality is significantly different, just like what it is he's outlining. And in regards to how it is, he's really picking up that Mindy is dismissive. He's saying you're hiding stuff, you're not 100% there. Right. Like, he's actually really outlining that there's something wrong. She doesn't get it. Right. She thinks she's all in, right? She's all over him. And he's actually really saying, no, you're not all that into me, and I am not all that into you.
Which is interesting that you say that, because from the perspective of an audience member, it does look like she's all in.
Yes. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder what exactly he's picking up from her that is dismissive.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because her look, I mean, I'm just going to say, her look to me is not an energetic look.
No.
It's not fun-loving.
No.
Right? It's not bright.
No.
It's actually very serious.
Yeah.
And perhaps for him, seriousness depicts dismiss. Right? Some people actually, in regards to like laughter, they don't take it as fun-loving.
They take it as an insult.
Yeah, laughing at me. I mean, people take different ways of being different ways.
Yeah.
Right? And perhaps that's how it is that he's taking it.
Right. Yeah.
So let's watch the next one.
Okay.
Anything you've been dishonest about. There's full honesty there.
Yes.
Please think hard. Please.
I think you're making up some.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay, well, no.
What do you think of that? Like, it's almost like he's trying to gaslight her, like, or present to the audience like, oh, she did this horrible, terrible thing that I can't even say to the audience because it's so horrible and terrible. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? You know?
Well, you know what? In a way, I really feel like it doesn't actually really matter. I mean, really what he's saying is that there's something that's getting in the way for him.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter what it is that it is. It could be the most horrible thing in the world, or the fact that she texted someone and said,
Oh, maybe. You know what? That's so true. Like, maybe she did text someone and be like, well, he's, this, but he's also kind of this, and he just took that, like, and ran with it.
Could totally be, right? I mean, it's just so interesting, the difference in their dispositions. I mean, I know that a lot of, during the show, people were kind of accusing him of like, well, you're just on the show, for your own business, personal training business, or whatever it is that is. It's so interesting, sort of like, I think, actually, really, they all are. But anyway, I think that as much as it is that it feels like, there's a dishonesty. He's saying to her, you're being dishonest. And as much as it feels like there's a dishonesty about him, I think that it really is just indicative of the fact that both are forced into running scared. Both are forced into not being safe. And, the whole idea that you're going to grow into feelings for one another can go either way. I mean, it can either be you're growing into love, you're growing into respect, or it can go the exact opposite way, which is, really what it is that we're seeing.
Yeah. I think what's interesting, and we don't have a clip of it, but when the girls get to meet up and the guys get to meet up, and every single time that the guys meet up and Zack actually shows up and starts to talk about his relationship, every single one of the guys is like, yeah, I don't really get Zack, like he has a beautiful wife, and it really feels like every time he talks I can't understand what he's saying because he just like goes in circles and has like random things that he says, so it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole point of doing that is really to avoid hitting the nail on the head, to actually really say out loud, this is not for me. I'm not that into her. Then, of course, the question for me would be, if somebody actually really verbally stated that, would their participation in the show end? Because a lot of these couples, what happens is it's quite obvious this is not happening, and they go to say it, but then all of a sudden it sort of pulls back into, well, we're gonna give it another try. So I'm not sure about the
rules,
parameters, in regards to the show itself. But funnily enough, they all end up in that place.
Yeah.
Right? Except for one. Mm-hmm. Right? So, you know, as much as they're like, I don't really get him. They're sitting there going, yeah, me too. Me too.
So what do you recommend for them going forward? I guess the truth is just find someone that you're right off the bat aesthetically pleased by and your personality is attracted to and stuff like that, and just like naturally move forward.
I think it's really hard for couples when it is that you get into a dismissive attachment style,
Right.
because nobody likes to be rejected.
No.
And it sends that person into fight or flight, right? And they start to pursue in hope that they're going to attach to the other person. But the truth is that Zack has been very honest.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. And I think that honesty is way, way better, self-esteem wise, than it is to fake it, right? And pretend and lie,
Yeah.
you know, and all of that kind of stuff. And yes, it's hard to come to terms with it. And some people are way better in regards to, like, you know, when you take a Band-Aid off, a cut or whatever, you know, either one little hair at a time or to just rip the Band-Aid off. You know, some people prefer the one little hair at a time. And that can be so painful over time. Whereas just to rip the Band-Aid off, to be able to acknowledge the fact, wow, so what you're saying is you're not that into me.
Yeah.
Right? And then to acknowledge it and to say, well, you know, based upon what you're telling me, what you're picking up is I'm not that into you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? And there's nothing that either one of them is able to do in order to be able to change that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a non-starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that Mindy can do now is try to heal her wounds and move on.
Well, to not attach who it is she is as a person,
Right.
to how it is that she's being responded to outside of herself,
Yeah.
right? She needs to work on being secure within herself, no matter what it is that she's being presented with,
Right.
right? And well, the same with Zack, really. And I think he's actually really a very self-assured and secure person, and he's okay with rejecting.
Yeah. I feel like he did kind of beat around the bush a little bit with, well, I'm trying. I think he should have just said, I'm not going to try because I don't want to waste your time.
Well, and I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
People vote with their feet.
Yeah.
And he didn't show up. And
Yeah.
and that's really key, right? Mm-hmm. Behavior rules. You know, it's 10 times more important to pay attention to what it is a person is doing than what it is that they're saying. They might be confused within themselves. They might be trying to fulfill somebody else's expectations. I mean, whatever it is that might be about, that's the language that a person uses. But the behavior says it all.
Right.
And he didn't show up.
Yeah.
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 Well, we showed up today.
We did show up today.
That means we're committed.
We are.
Because we're here.
Yes.
Exactly.
And now we're going to leave. Thank you so much, Dr. Laurie, for talking about Mindy and Zack's relationship. And thank you for tuning in. Please give this video a like, subscribe, stay subscribed, and join us next time.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.